You are listening to I'm Refocused podcast with your host, Shemaya Reed. This podcast is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. Now, let's tune into today's podcast.
Hey, this is I'm Refocused podcast. Man, we are here once again with another awesome episode for y'all today. Man, we are talking to a music artist, Gary Burk. Man, we're going to be talking about his music. He has some new music that came out recently. And before we get into that, I want to welcome Gary to the show and say, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm doing awesome, man. So this is going to be an awesome show, man. So right before we get all into what you're doing right now, you got a single called Friday Night. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Before we do that, though, man, tell us a little bit about you and where you grew up and how you got into music. Because I heard that you would listen to the radio and heard something that inspired you. So, man, tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, man. I mean, basically what happened is, I was 9 years old. I was on my way to our family camp, and pretty much a CD was playing in the truck, and it was actually Billy Gilman when he was younger, and a song came on. It was called One Voice, and I started singing along to it, and I realized that I sounded a lot like him at that time. And I mean, that just kind of inspired me. It put me in the music mode, and ever since then, I've really just dug into the music and appreciated it and loved it. And then I started playing out, and I was playing cover tunes for a long time. And then I started doing my own thing and, getting some new material of my own out and releasing a couple singles. And that's, that I'm so thankful that I got in at the age I did.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, man, when did your guitar collection start? Was it super young, or was it when you got older? Like, what inspired you to start collecting guitars?
It was I was 15, and I started, I got a Gibson Les Paul. That was my first real, I don't want to say real expensive guitar, but it was like my first real guitar, I'll say. And it was, I learned on a little Stratocaster. It was a mini Strat or something like that. And then I upgraded to the Gibson Les Paul Robot. And I love guitars, and I love everything about them. So I started adding to my collection one at a time, and now I've got too many to count. So.
And when you started really thinking about getting serious in the music business, at what age did you take that jump? What was your first experience in the studio like?
I was in the studio when I was 10 years old, 10, 11, in that market, and I was super young. I was remaking a song. I wasn't doing my own song, and it was a different experience than now, where I'm doing my own song, and I'm doing my own songs.
When you started doing your own songs, obviously, when you got older, like original songs, what was that process like when you started to piece everything together, from getting the song written, recorded, mixed and mastered, and then marketing?
I work with an awesome team of songwriters. They're truly amazing. There's about 15 guys that write these songs, and I couldn't ask for a better group. But whenever I heard the song originally, I said to myself, I'm like, man, all my songs, every one of them, I was like, man, I can't believe nobody's cut this. And I mean, immediately, as soon as I heard them, I was getting into the studio, getting vocals laid down, getting the tracks laid, and then going through the mixing, the mastering. I had an awesome engineer right here in Butler, Pennsylvania, at the Meat Locker recording studio, Jim Harpel, a great guy, and he helped me through the process. It was a scary thing to do my own original material, because you never know who's going to take it. You never know if it's going to be a success. You never know if it's going to be a hit. It's kind of a chance that you take, and from there I started marketing it, and the support of my hometown is really what I feel like pushed me. I grew up in a little town north of Pittsburgh, PA, and it's really helped me. My hometown has pushed me to be everything I am today.
And And speaking of hometown, you got a show coming up on May 26th. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's going to be right there.
Yeah. I don't have a whole bunch of shows local in my hometown this year, but this is one of them. It's a campground, a local campground. It's called Peaceful Valley Campground. We'll be there, Memorial Day weekend. I'll get to hang out with a lot of people that I haven't got to see in about a year now, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And when it comes to being an artist, a lot of people want to do it. A lot of people think about doing it, but not everybody gets to have the opportunity to actually live it. You're one of the few that are living it, doing it, experiencing all the greats part of the music industry, because we all know not everything is always shiny and perfect. But with your experience being in the music industry, man, what's some of the things you've been able to take from it so far in your journey in your music career?
Like you said, man, a lot of people try to make it in this industry, and not everybody does. And I'm so blessed that I was given the opportunity to make it. I mean, I released my first song 2 years ago, and if you'd asked me 2 years ago if I thought I'd be here today, I'd have told you no way. And I have a lot of people to thank for that. Everybody that's been listening on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all these places that music can be bought. Those are the people that put me where I am.
And that's the key, because it always takes a village. It always takes a team to make the dream work. But more importantly, it takes people of quality with the same mission. Like, this is the big picture, and this is the goal, and this is how we're going to execute. How do you and your team just keep things moving? Because not everybody, what I'm saying, not everyone has that luxury of always having a great surrounding with their
definitely life. I mean, I can't lie to you, it's tough. There's a lot of times it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're on a tour bus and you're going from one end of the state to the other, and you only have 8 hours to sleep and drive and do everything all together, it's a lot. In the meantime, you're trying to write songs, you're trying to come up with the next thing, and keep the people happy, and it's not always easy. I can't say it's an easy task, but like I said, I do have an awesome group, and I couldn't be any happier with them.
And when you see how you have come so far in your career, how you have grown, it's crazy. I mean, you're doing a lot of good stuff, and you have tons of shows throughout June also that's already booked and set in stone. So what? Yeah,
right now I'm booking into 2020.
Oh man, see.
Yeah, I mean, I just finished booking up 2019, and now we're getting ready to start 2020.
Man, that's amazing. See, you're super busy, and that's awesome, because for people out there who are trying to make it in the music industry, that's like everyone's dream, to always be out there and connect with your fans. And speaking of that, since you've been on different areas performing, what's some of the favorite memories you have so far interacting with your fans, people who listen to your tracks, man? What's some of the interactions you've been able to have?
This past summer, I got to open up for, Cassidy Pope, Brett Young, Dustin Lynch, Alabama. And that show was 44,000 people. And for once, I got to be on the other side of it. That was kind of my first real big show like that. And, I got to be on the other side of it. And I got to see what it was like to be on the stage and have people singing your songs back to you. And, I mean, it's a feeling just beyond belief, And it's really cool. And, I have kids. And I got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And when we're driving down the road and they get to hear Dad's song on the radio, it's an awesome feeling for them to get excited about it and say, that's my dad.
Yeah. Now that's what's up, because when you are pushing yourself in the music industry, you're branding yourself, you're marketing yourself, it's more than just a task of marketing. It's the everyday consistency of just showing up. Because there are days when, we all have those days where it's like, oh man, I don't feel like doing anything right now, but it's being consistent.
Yeah, and you got to push through and do it. I mean, there's no stopping.
Exactly. And when you are in those moments where you do have a long day and you're just not feeling it, what's some of the things that you have been doing to keep yourself focused and just not selling? Because you're in a situation where you're doing big things. How do you keep that right mindset?
Honestly, if it wasn't for my family and my fans, I couldn't do it. I have a beautiful fiance that helps me every day with this, because it is a lot. There's a lot of sacrifices that are made to live this lifestyle, and it can be tough. It can be draining, and I'm so thankful that I have a family behind me that really helps me get through those rough times when I do want to quit. And when I have the fans that are saying, your songs have touched me, and whatever, it really helps it get there.
And speaking of that, man, for you to have the experience you do have so far in your music career, say somebody out there who's pursuing music, they want to do what you're doing, man. They want to travel and they want to make this a living. What words of wisdom you give anybody out there who really seriously want to take that next step in their career?
Honestly, never give up. It doesn't matter in life, what you've been through, what you're going through. If you got a dream in music, go for it. It can be the most rewarding thing that you ever do in your life. And I'm not talking financially. I'm talking for your soul. It can be the best thing to ever happen to you. And, I'm just a small town boy from a little town that, my graduating class was 100 people. And we drove our tractors to school. It was in the middle of nowhere. And, if I can do it, anybody can. You got to have that heart and you got to have that drive. And that's pretty much what I would tell anybody. Just don't give up. Don't give up. It will get hard and it'll be exhausting. But if you don't give up, you'll be okay.
Nah, that's good stuff, man, because that's what people need to hear. And speaking of not giving up, man, let's dig deep into that, because say someone's listening like, okay, I'm gonna do what Gary's saying. I'm gonna take some notes right now. What's some examples or just a example where you face adversity and you wanted to give up, but you say, you know what, nah, I'm keep doing it. Give us that little story.
I mean, the first time I did my own song, the first time I actually put one of my own songs out there, it's the most scary feeling in the world, because you don't know if people are going to like it.
Yeah.
And you have no idea. It's such a chance that, are people going to like it? And I almost let that fear stop me from releasing the song, because I told myself it wasn't good enough. It's not good enough to be on the radio. And then, lo and behold, I released it, and people, they loved it. They were coming up to me being like, Gary, when's your next song coming out? When can we expect more?
That's what it's about, man. Because when people hesitate, they never know what the results could have been. It turns into a regret in life, later in life. And for you to just go out there and do it, I mean, like I said, you got shows all the way booked to 2020. And that's what it's about. And also, this episode is going to be on my other podcast show, Keep Grinding. There we talk about the hustle, the grind. Every day is a choice, and no one's going to force you to do it. Like, no one's going to force you to wake up and go after your dreams. You got to set the tone and say, you know what, despite anything, I don't need everybody's help or anybody's approval. As long as I approve this message, so to speak, then I'm going to go for it. How do you, because you touched on how you keep the mindset, but how do you keep yourself from burning out? Because it is a toll on you and your family. How you manage to not burn out?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. That's the only thing I can say. You do get burnout. Things happen, and you get tired. And it's like I said, it's just it's the family behind me. It's the fans. That's what keeps me moving.
And speaking of moving, man, when people are finding themselves connecting to you into your songs, like, what is that feeling like, man, when you start to realize, man, people are actually like feeling this? Like, what goes through your mind?
It's different. It's honest. It's such a weird feeling. It's a great feeling, to be honest.
And when you are on stage, man, what's some of your favorite moments when you're on stage? Is it
seeing my fans sing my songs back to me? I mean, that's the biggest reward of it all.
And it's funny because I've interviewed many artists, and that's like the common thread everyone has said is when people know your lyrics and they actually sing it back is the most rewarding part of that performance. Now, when you are done and music is like, music's not work for you. I know that. But when you have time to just be you, what's some of the things you like doing for fun?
My like I've said a couple times, my family's everything to me. Mm-hmm. Without them, I'm not much. So, in my spare time, that's what I do. I hang out with my family, and I try to do what I can with them, and that's that, man.
And that's it, man. That's what it's about: family, sacrifice, and like you said, don't give up. When you see, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just you can't give up. No matter what in life, you can't give up on it.
And that's perfect, because it's definitely what I was about to say. When you see the opportunity start being presented your way right now, and you see the position that you are, what do you see for your career? Like, what's some of the small, short-term goals that you would like to reach in the future?
Yeah, we started planning our 2020 tour, looking at a full album, and new songs coming out here in the next month.
That's what's up, man. Now, fans looking into just your up and coming events, man, they can definitely go check you out on your website. That's GaryBurk3.com. So y'all definitely go check out what he's doing, because he ain't slowing down, man. I mean, he's already booked the 2020, so y'all might want to go check out some of the locations and dates, because he's going to be coming to your area pretty soon. I know that for sure. Now, before we close the show, man, like, who you want to get some shout outs to? Because I know you got a band as well.
Yeah, man, I got an awesome band. Tim Morabito on the drums, Ange Gevedoni on the bass guitar, Robert Mead on the rhythm. I got to thank MTS Records. They really helped me put me up there. Everybody that's kind of supported me. I charted 15th on iTunes last week, and I gotta thank everybody for that. I appreciate it. And Michael Stover at MTS, he's an awesome dude.
And if anybody got anything from the show, man, there's so many things, but ones that stick out: family, never give up.
Yeah, man, family first.
You know what I'm saying?
Family first, and never stop chasing your dreams.
That's what it is, man. Now, say, before we let you go officially, man, say someone out there who's kind of like discouraged. Maybe they chase their dream a little bit and they kind of pause. And I said they pause because if they given up, they wouldn't be able to hear this episode. So they haven't really given up yet. Say they took a pause on their dream, and they don't know how to get back on that path and keep grinding and keep pushing and staying focused. What would you tell that individual?
Honestly, man, ask that man upstairs. He'll get you there. He will put you where you need to be. And, if your dreams are what they are and you took a break, that's okay. Get back on the train and keep on trucking.
Man, that's what's up, man. Man, once again, talking to Gary Burk, and you don't know, now you know, because we're going to have the links so you can check out his music on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. He's everywhere. So there's no excuse. It's easy to listen to music nowadays, so you have options. So I want everybody definitely go to GaryBrook3.com, and you can find him on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, everywhere. So I want everybody to go support, because music artists, man, this is what they do. They provide music to create memories for us, the listener, because that's what it's about, man. How many times have you listened to your favorite song and it just changed your mood? You know?
Way too many to count.
So, and that's the power of music. So people like you who are doing that for the world to hear, thank y'all for what you do, man, because people are putting your songs on loop after loop after loop, because you know songs bring people together. It puts people in a good mood. It's a good pick 'em up. So with that said, man, the floor is yours, man. What was the last thing you would like to tell to the audience?
Yeah, hey, thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for having me on the show. I look forward to being back soon. Check out my website for tour dates. You can get merchandise. You can get it all on there. So stay tuned. And, thanks again for having me on the show. And thanks, MTS Records.
Awesome, man. That is Gary Burk, exclusive interview, music news right at your front door, or should I say your smartphone device. So however you listen to this show, man, appreciate everyone. Once again, this is Army Focus Podcast. It's going to be also a special edition on Keep Grinding Podcast. And like we say on Army Focus, keep God first, stay focused, and peace.
Take care, brother. Thank you.